It's July 24th, 2024. I am at Joel Pearl, and I am back. Jeremy Lambert missed me. I missed him. Believe it or not, when I don't have you around. Really? How you doing, Jeremy? I'm done. Good night.
It's been a week since I've talked to you, Joel.
Isn't that weird? Even in the DMs, you and I haven't kept up much.
Yeah, because I don't want to talk to you. What people don't realize, or maybe you do, is like we do this show, and then I try to avoid Joel the rest of the way because I don't have anything nice to say to Joel. So my mother always told me if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing. So I try not to say anything to Joel.
And that's why I'm not going to say anything for the rest of the show. Oh, man. But yes, I'm back from Montreal. Got back on Monday afternoon. It was a...
ran from the grind.
My train was an hour delayed. Shout out to every TNA wrestler and production staff and anyone who worked for TNA who was taking flights home via Delta, because apparently they either haven't gone yet, they've gotten home, or they took forever to get home. So it is what it is. I hope they got home okay. I know some of them were stranded for at least the day, and that sucks, but whatever. They're okay. Delta.
I mean, I don't feel like it was just a Delta problem. Apparently Y2K happened on Friday, so that kind of shut things down.
So just to give you an idea, so I took the train for this particular venture, which is not something I normally would do. When I can fly, I'll fly, but I ended up getting a pretty great deal like months ago on the train. So I was able to go on points and on a really good deal. That ended up working very much in my favor because the train was not delayed on the way over. More like it was delayed in the way that the Canadian train system always is, which is 15, 30 minutes late. That's okay. That doesn't bug me as much. The flights, on the other hand, I was seeing people talk about it. I was getting messages about it. People were stuck. People were asking if I was okay. And I'm sending photos from the train. And I'm just like, I'm good. I got a glass of wine. I'm cool. We're good. No worries. But I felt bad for anyone who was stuck. Getting in was a real pain. Speaking on the TNA side of things, there was the only person who really missed the show who was planned was Jonathan Gresham. And that's it. Danny Luna was game time. I'd been told the morning on Saturday that it was kind of hit or miss. They didn't know yet, but they were optimistic. She got in, she made the show, and then she was on the tapings the next night. So, that's great. The Gresham thing, if that's the worst of it, then that's okay. That's like the best of a worst case situation. Still made it though.
Well, and all the surprises got ruined.
Yes, that's right. Well, hold on. Because of the no flying thing, that's why it was.
Well, that's with Jordan Grace. There's a lot of discourse around that, which I thought it was very, very dumb in the first place, because what Jordan said, I feel like I'm gonna have to switch my internet here in a second. I assume all of the 12 kids are up and trying to download 1,500 things at once. Let me just go ahead and do that before I start to roll here. And
sure, no problem. Hey, while you're doing that, let me do my thing. Hey, leave a thumbs up on the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked, because that goes a long way. It's free as well. If you want to donate a super chat, any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. And of course, we have a guest at 10:30. Spencer Love from Love Wrestling is going to be joining us. Look at that. Love Wrestling's in the chat. Big shout out to them. We'll talk about them and the weekend that I had. They were all around me in Montreal, but Spenny's going to join us at 10:30. We're going to talk about West Edmonton Brawl. That's their big show that's coming up. Very excited to hear about it and how it came together, because this is a show at the West Edmonton Mall, which, for those who don't know, it's kind of like the Mall of America in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. And this is just the Canadian equivalent. Has a whole bunch of amenities inside, skating rinks and theme parks and all this stuff. And there's going to be a wrestling show that they're doing in Edmonton. So Spenny's going to join us 10:30 a.m. Eastern, about 20 minutes. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. You were saying about the surprises.
So Jordan Grace did an interview with Sports Illustrated. It was a fine interview. Now she's hyping up the show and everything. And she said, let me be fair to her comments here, because I don't want to misinterpret anything that was said, but it was akin, I use that term correctly, akin to nobody does surprises. She said the surprises are going to be even bigger than people realize. TNA and NXT do surprises better than any other promotion. I don't think anyone can argue that. If you're tired of accidentally reading spoilers, watch Slammiversary. Our goal is to make fans fall back in love with wrestling.
And then we not so accidentally spoiled what some of those surprises were.
What's that?
And then we not so accidentally spoiled what some of those surprises were. But before you continue, I will say TNA did it to themselves as well. I'll tell you why in a few minutes.
What were the surprises? I mean, the wedding?
There was the wedding, Hebner. They spoiled Hebner for themselves too. I talked about this on the post show. If you went to the show, they do the meet and greets at the TNA shows. And they have a big board with the tiers of who you're going to meet. And on the tier board is Earl Hebner. So they gave it away themselves. It's not just like, we're bringing in Earl Hebner because, no, you did it yourself. And then there was also the Kushida reveal. He had a new gimmick. And like, this is on the lower form of spoiler, but like he did the meet and greet with the Titanium guests. And that was out in the open. You could see it. And he's wearing like new gear. He's covered up in all the Japanese lettering. That was totally given away. The only thing we didn't see,
the Hakushi gear.
Yeah, the Hakushi. Everyone's making allusions to Hakushi. And the only thing you didn't see was the thing that he wore on his head and the stick that he carried with him. Everything else, though, yes, saw it early before the show. So they kind of gave that stuff away for themselves.
Okay, well, then people took it way out of proportion of they were supposed to do bigger surprises than AEW did it All Out 2021 with Cole and Danielson, which was never in Grace's comments, but she said, never said this. I do apologize for the lack of surprises. Could have never predicted a global tech outage, canceling thousands of flights, some including my husband, could not make it. I regret trying to hype the show with that statement. Sorry, guys. I mean, it's fair. She did say there were going to be bigger surprises than people realize. So you're adding hype to the show, which you want to do. Talent. You're the TNA Knockouts champion. You're going to hype the show. I don't know if Jordynne Grace is clued in on these kind of surprises. Maybe she is, but typically if you have these big surprises, you're probably not cluing in too many people to take it. Like previously, if Scott D'Amore says it, okay, Scott D'Amore probably knows some stuff. I don't know if Jordynne Grace is clued in if they were going to have, let's say, Trick Williams show up. If they're going to be like, hey, Jordynne, Trick is going to show up on this show. And then go hype that. I don't know if she's clued in to that level. I think she was just being a good talent and just being like, yeah, we're going to have big surprises. Go watch the show. Didn't happen. Maybe it was circumstances. Maybe they didn't have as much stuff Jordynne tried to hype. But I wasn't disappointed because I wasn't expecting these major surprises.
On top of that, she didn't say the surprises were related to talent crossing over. I think that's an expectation setting.
And she did say TNA and NXT do surprises better than any other promotion.
She did, eh? Okay, then you know what? Then you know what? You're right. You can't really go that route. The Danielson AEW comparison came from somebody who was taking some creative liberties and stuck his foot in his mouth a couple of times during the weekend. But I do believe that particular person, I'm not going to name him because I don't want to start a brigade or anything. I know that he does actually enjoy TNA and covers TNA for his outlet. I think he got silly and got stupid and got caught. And that's really what it comes down to. And he tried to get funny, but he said something stupid instead. So yeah, the surprises were there. And that was it. They weren't plentiful. When I was told on Friday afternoon that Jordan and Ash were practicing for their match, I'm like, well, everything I said, gone. Everything I said about Natty coming in, done. Because they ain't practicing. They're not going to go and practice for a match that's longer than 90 seconds. Unless there's another match going and they're just kayfabing me. But turns out that wasn't the case. They did Ash and Jordynne Grace. And you know what? I know this isn't the post show, but I'll say this. The match itself was good. The creative behind it was not good. That's really what it comes down to. If you want the full conversation there, I know that Jeremy and SB3 kind of talked about Slammiversary on Monday, but if you want a full post-show rundown, myself, Cressa Star, and Steven Jensen, we all did one about midnight after the show had ended. So you got about 45 minutes of you figuring out if you like the show or not before we told you how we felt about it. So that's over on the main Fightful channel.
What did you make of that main event?
So you want to talk about talent and what they do and don't know? I had talent.
Yeah, I want to talk about everything.
Well, we will. We could talk about that stuff. Let me check my email. I'm not getting. Oh God. Okay, we can get to that later.
Boy, let's talk about that.
Nope, not talking about that right now.
Put it in the private chat.
And I can explain it much later when Spenny gets here. I'll explain it. So the talent that I spoke to, many of them were more like fantasy booking the main event. They didn't know either. And this isn't like a kayfabe Joel thing. Like this was amongst a lot of different people, some who just didn't really know me. And it was just casual conversation. Yeah, long story short, nobody really knew what to expect. There were people saying like Joe Hendry's got to win. Joe Hendry's got to win. And some people were saying Moose has got to retain. And then others were saying, well, if Nemeth wins, is it gonna backfire because of everything that's going on with Joe Hendry, and giving it up to Moose giving up the title after all this time, so on and so forth. So yeah, that was part of it. And the main event, I knew it was going to be 45 minutes. Cool. When Hendry pinned Moose, I said, Hendry's not winning. And I know why he's not winning. Well, I know why he's not winning. But then I was like, who's left in this match? Oh shit. I think Nick Nemeth is actually going to win. And that was something I talked about with Cresta on the show months before this became a 6-way. I said it was going to be Nemeth and Moose 2, and Nemeth was going to finally win the title at Slammiversary. We did it, but they just did it in a way that involved a whole lot more characters. And they're saving grace, and I know a lot of people have so many feelings about the Joe Hendry thing. This is the interesting thing. There are people who are following Joe Hendry from TNA, and there are people who are following Joe Hendry from NXT and socials. So it's this is a story of two different people, and I'm not saying anyone's wrong in this. I'm just saying this is a perception-based conversation. I'm going from Joe Hendry in TNA and how his story has been told. And I've talked about this with you. Joe Hendry's story in TNA, and they like to stick to their stories, is Hendry is only starting to become more serious lately. Does that mean he should have won the title? I mean, you can make the argument. You and I certainly did on Friday, and you had really good points, and other people in the comments agreed with you. But my feeling always was Hendry is still on the ascent in the TNA world, whereas in the NXT world and on socials, he's there. Don't get me wrong. He is there. And the video that they put out last night on NXT, that only further solidified how over and popular and how much Joe Hendry has to offer in that world. So on the TNA side, the saving grace to Hendry not winning was Josh Alexander turning. Because now you've got the face of TNA who's upset that he's not getting cheered. He's upset that there's another guy who's basically taking his spotlight. He's going to go after Joe Hendry. And now this story becomes Joe Hendry becomes the face of TNA, and Josh Alexander is upset about it, so they're going to fight. We're now, again, because TNA is going to build their story their own way, you're going to have Joe Hendry and Josh Alexander. Assuming Hendry wins, you'll probably have Hendry win the title maybe by the end of the year in TNA. Unless something big happens with NXT and they do a big angle where he shockingly wins the NXT championship while still under contract to TNA. That would be shocking to me. That would be fun for me. I don't expect it, but it would be cool. So when we got to Joe Hendry getting eliminated and Josh Alexander doing the elimination and everything that followed, I said, well, now it's Nemeth, because they put Kazarian through a table. He's eventually got to come back, and he's not coming back. How did they take your mind off of Joe Hendry? They gave you the heel turn. How do you take your mind off the fact that it's probably going to be Nick Nemeth? You give him a really good, solid 10-minute back and forth matchup with Josh Alexander, and then Nick Nemeth gets the win. And then how do you finish it off? You have the guy that was feuding with Kazarian. That's Nick Nemeth. They were having a feud in TNA, so you had them have a 5-minute quickly whatever, so that you can do Kazarian and Nemeth down the line. And then Nick Nemeth won the title. So from a story base, if you were following from TNA, everything made sense. But like I said, you have another side of the coin, and that side of the coin is that Joe Hendry is very popular outside of TNA, and you could have capitalized and you could have done something with it. But I don't get upset about it because I said it from the get-go. TNA is going to stick to their stories. For better or worse, they're going to stick to their story. And I see the look on your face that it's not much for better in this case. I don't disagree with you. I can tell you from the TV tapings, they're putting a lot of stock in Hendry, which is what you expected and what you wanted. And they're making him more serious, but they're still letting him have his comedic edge. So like there's a good balancing act if you're a TNA fan following TNA. I know there's not a ton of you, but they're then doing it on NXT. Seems like it's working. That's my general feelings about the main event. It was paced really well. Like I gotta tell you, the way that they did the main event, I thought was really good and really strong. I don't love elimination matches, but they made it make sense. Shout out to Steve Macklin flipping off the crowd.
They could have had the TNA World Heavyweight Champion do a concert on next week's NXT.
Yep.
And then beat whichever Gallus member he's going to face. They could have had it. It was there.
But then you're taking the NXT plans and you're tossing them out the window for a TNA talent. So there is another side to this.
I don't think they're going to have him come in there and lose a bunch on NXT. They had him beat Sean Spears. I don't think that I don't think he's going to lose to the Gallus boys out here.
It was more I guess you were saying putting the TNA title on him. Sorry, I was thinking about the NXT title, and you're right. Yeah. Sorry, in my brain it was going back to I read the Make Joe Hendry NXT champion, and I thought that's what we were talking about for a second. My bad. I'm going to stop reading chat.
I think it was the wrong call. Time will tell. Time will tell if this was the call or not. But I don't know. It felt like a deflating moment when they did it. And now I guess they continue to build Hendry, maybe Bound for Glory's in the UK, which has been speculated. Maybe that's where he gets his big title win. Like Nick Nemeth being the champion and then them trying to be like hoorah Nick Nemeth. I wasn't buying that too much. Just wasn't buying it. What can you do? You seem very busy here, Joel.
I was getting you the private chat that you so desperately wanted. So I know random. So that was the main event. And again, I see the reasoning for both sides. I'm so curious behind the scenes of how the TNA TV deal is looking, because I know that there's talks about wanting to do more, wanting to go more places. I just don't know. I don't know. This partnership has always struck me as this is I'm kind of not trying to sound like a downer, but for like big TNA fans, if I say this, they'll think about it the wrong way. It's always felt like this is WWE getting free opportunities to scout and then pick TNA talent if they so desire. But they're also picking the right talent and promoting them the right way. The stuff with the Rascals, that was a built-in story that had to happen, and it's so far paid off. There's someone in the chat saying Rascals winning the NXT titles more likely than putting the NXT title on Hendry. And you know what? I agree with that statement, especially after last night. You've got two guys who have already worked, or one guy who's already worked the WWE system but isn't in there right now, and the other guy who is in WWE, that's Wesley. They could do it, and no one would feel weird or uncertain about it. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I don't think that there is a short end of the stick being given. I think a lot of this just comes down to certain wrestlers of note are getting WWE shine with probably the opportunity for them to sign afterwards. And for all we know, there's a kickback to TNA afterwards. I don't know that, and I'm not reporting that, but I wouldn't be shocked to hear something like that. They almost become talent scouting of their own or development and recruitment of their own. I don't know. That is completely me speculating, But it wouldn't surprise me if you find out down the line so and so signed, so we kick them X amount as a thank you.
Jeff Valley Driver's back as we're gonna bury AEW in their terrible blood and guts match tonight.
We're back, baby. I thought, wait, it's not Biden and Guts?
Might be Biden and Guts. A lot of people are going to be watching that. MJF is going to come out 1 second after Biden finishes his speech, which will probably be like 10 o'clock based on how long it's going to take him to get these words out.
I think Trevor Dame had it best when he said a bunch of people are texting Tony Khan right now saying, maybe I shouldn't be in the first hour show.
Sounds about right. And before Spencer Love joins us, I'll have fun tonight, Henry. He says he's going to see Blood and Guts live. It's a good show live. It's always fun. I mean, I don't know about Blood and Guts live. I've never seen one live, but like AEW in general is a good show live.
I think honestly, it's most wrestling shows are fun live. We watch it on TV and we can only report on what we see on TV. But like, from my experience at Slammiversary, because it's the most recent one, like it was good. It was a good show and it was a fun show, and the atmosphere makes things so much more fun. So just go and enjoy the entertainment, because guess what? That's what you're going to see is entertainment.
Before we get to everything, gotta say this. Sad news.
It's in my notes. Thank you.
Did you know?
Our best pal.
No, I was going to try to go somewhere else, but that's fine.
No, got to go right there. It's our best pal.
Cole Radrick got injured over the weekend. Fractured tibia, I believe. He's kind of he's stepping back from the social media and everything, which I don't blame him. But best wishes to our pal Cole. Now I feel obligated. Do you think he purposely did this so I would go through the table?
You know what? Maybe that's a question we need to ask him when he's ready. He knows he has a standing invitation. He can join our show whenever, especially now. He's always welcome to smile with us. But listen, if he did this to ensure that you'll go through that table, God bless.
I respect it.
Exactly. You know how we always talk about making sacrifices for this business? You remember that bit? He's doing it. He's standing on that. Got to respect it.
We love Cole. I hope he's good. I reached out to him. I haven't heard anything back. So hopefully, I know he stepped away though. I saw it, like his first message was like, this sucks. And that's when I reached out to him. And then like 5 minutes later, he gave the news that he was injured. I felt really bad. So reached out again. Everyone go buy some merch. Go buy a ticket to the Smitty. Even if you're not going, just buy a ticket. August 23rd, Spencer, Indiana, the Smitty. It's going to be a fun tournament. I'm probably going through a table.
You're probably going through a table, despite the fact that the ITW anonymous general manager just messaged me and said, no guilt table spots.
Well, we'll have to ask Cole if this is a thing that he did or not. I'm not putting it past him. He really wants me to go through that table. I don't think he wants me to go through it enough to take himself out of the business for a few months, but I don't put it past Cole.
Listen, we'll find out. We'll find out when he is a sly old devil. I love that man. Cole, if you're listening to us, if you see this, we send our love and we hope that you get well real soon, but also doors open if you want to come and chop it up with us. How about that?
Is this true?
Now you have to go.
What are we talking to? Me or Louis?
Louis.
Okay. I was about to say, I'm going.
I'm not going to dox Louis, but based on his Twitter, I think he's not terribly far from there. So could be. Who knows?
I feel Louis got to go. Louis might end up putting me through a table. Shit.
Well, let's find out how far this guy is from Spencer, Indiana. Hey, look at that. This is perfect because his name is also Spencer. He Loves joins us now from Love Wrestling.
Spencer, Indiana. I am like Carmen Sandiego and the weird second cousin. Hi, guys. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Good. I'm good. I missed you last weekend. I was really, really hoping I could get out there to the beautiful Verdun Auditorium, but unfortunately it was not in the cards. Glad you had fun. I don't know what you did last weekend, Jeremy, but I tried to get there too.
Last weekend? I don't know what
Fiddler,
I did last
baby.
weekend either. Oh yeah, I saw Fiddler on the roof. Did you know that there's a Gwen Stefani song in this play?
I was more...
Maybe the one you watched.
He spends so little time on that roof, man. Like, there's not really a huge purpose to, like, it's like
Roman Reigns' ass schedule with he's on the roof for like 30 seconds at the
Fiddler's
beginning.
got a good contract, brother. Creative
Yeah.
control worked into that fiddling contract.
Yeah, he's on the roof for like 30 seconds at the beginning, and then he's on the ground by the end of the show. He's still fiddling, which I guess is good. But
They could have just called it the Fiddler, and we would have been fine.
could have. That's might
Just sounds like a bad Batman.
Yeah,
villain.
that doesn't sound like. At
On
least
the
if they're on the
Riddler's-
roof.
I'm the Riddler's third cousin. Oi! Riddle me this, riddle me that. Riddle me, riddle me.
Oh God, I'm sorry I ruined your show already. How you doing?
No, it's all right. We're here. We're clear. I'm back, and we're working, brother. So are you. Let's talk about Love Pro Wrestling. Let's talk about the West Edmonton Brawl. Give us the rundown on this show. I'm so curious about it. But first, just plug the show itself, tell the people about it, and then we're going to ask you questions.
Yeah, so Saturday, August 17th, we are running the first ever event in the history of the West Edmonton Mall Ice Palace, West Edmonton Brawl. We've got the opportunity to work with Rob Van Dam for the first time, which I personally I'm super excited for. I don't really know any wrestling fans who wouldn't be, to be honest. But getting to work with him is going to be really cool. We're very, very fortunate to get to welcome back a lot of people who we've had the opportunity to work with before, whether it be Gigi Ray or the Voros twins or Jasmine Allure, Nicole Matthews, and Artemis Spencer coming out, and then all your Love Pro Wrestling favorites. So we'll be doing a meet and greet event in the Ice Palace from, I believe, 3 to 5. Short little intermission after that, and then the action's going to start at about 7 p.m. here in Edmonton. So, yeah, man, it's I'm trying to find less cliche ways to say it than like it's a history-making show, but this is the first time it's ever happened. I'm real proud and humbled. I kind of hate that phrase, but like, what else can you say? It's pretty humbling to be able to take a part in this and be able to host her. So yeah, August 17th, we're still debating whether or not we're going to be live on IWTV or if that's going to be post recorded. But if you're in Edmonton, Alberta, there's no better place to be in August as far as pro wrestling goes.
First question: what is it with Love Pro Wrestling and ice rinks and shows?
We're Canadian, brother.
True.
What's with this country and ice rinks? I found out a fun fact. Did you know that 82% of all Canadian ice rinks were built between 1974 and 1978? There's actually a fun one for you.
What?
That's a shoot. Yeah,
What is
that's an
this
actual
learning on this show.
that is an actual shoot because Canada went into ice rink building mode right after the Summit Series.
That sounds awful. Also, there's
Yeah.
a backyard rinks popping up every year. So does that count as if you rebuild a backyard rink, does that count as a new construction or is that a refurbishment?
I think it's a refurbishment, but I don't know where in the tax code that falls under.
Gonna have to ask Elliot Friedman.
That's someone smarter than me. Listen to Frege. I'm not excited for 32 thoughts in the next couple of days. If you saw the Oilers friggin' dumb little hire this morning.
I was about to say,
love this team, but they make it real hard sometimes to love this team.
Yeah, you should be running the Oilers with the management moves they're making because
anybody else should be.
a little questionable there.
What can you do? We'll ignore that one. We'll get to the end when we inevitably get to the fact that the Avalanche are better than the Oilers.
I mean, yeah, we got a cup, so it's
You got 5.
undeniable. Well, I mean, in the last decade, how many y'all got?
I mean, technically none.
In the last 2 decades, how many y'all got?
This
Again.
You want to go? You want to go 2 more decades till we get there, or what are we doing?
No.
Okay,
at least I know that.
How did all this come together? How do you pitch a mall of, hey, we're gonna put a wrestling event here?
So full kudos to them because it's been very, very collaborative. I'm really comparing this to our experience there with Rogers Place about 7 months ago, and that, like, obviously we've put in some work on our end of things. We approached them, to be quite honest with you guys, we approached West Edmonton Mall pretty well immediately after we did our first ever show. Changed the game there in about October of 2021. Now we were just starting at that point, so it was kind of a pipe dream, to be honest with you. But about a year ago, we started to work with them again after we announced the Rogers Place event, and after we started to get a little bit of momentum there. And to be honest with you, like, definitely not easy. There was a lot of work that went into it over the last year, but they were pretty easy conversations to have. Like I said last time I was on here, you know, when you're working with great people, you can really do anything. And I think we've had the opportunity to work with some really great people with this. So lots of conversations, lots of logistics, but it was a pretty easy decision to come to, you know?
Listen, because I know some people in your camp are going to clip this and pass this around. RVD on Between Two Beards when?
Stay tuned, because if you think we're not trying to angle for something like that, Rob Van Dam on a brunch gimmick, come on.
Oh,
come
let's
on.
go. What
It
match?
seems
what
like a
match
good
do you
time.
watch? What match do you watch with Rob Van Dam on the brunch gimmick?
Yes. Just yes.
Yeah,
You
who
make
cares?
the pick, man. I don't give a
Van
shit.
Dam.
You put on whatever you would like, Mr. Van Dam or Mr. Dam. I don't know if Van's the middle name there at that point.
I
But
think it's together. I think it's Van Dam, kind of like
it's
Jean-Claude.
hyphenated. Mr. Van Dam. Okay,
No,
so
it's
Mr. Van Dam, he can pick.
It's
Dealer's
not,
choice on that one.
it's not hyphenated. It's just both together.
Van was the maiden name.
Just Mr. RVD. Can't you just go Mr. RVD?
Mr. Rob Van Dam.
I'm Mr. Manager, just manager.
This is actually a very legitimate question since you were on your construction zone years. Kate's asking, what years did most malls get built in Canada?
You know, West Edmonton Mall, I think the property was purchased in about 1972. So I'd have to assume after that, you know, the big mall expansion of the 80s was really massive up here, especially after Robin Sparkles released her hit track. And I think that was 84. So really after that, full credit to Colby Smulders. I think that's how you say her name.
Probably. Was there any
credit to her?
Was there any talk of holding the show anywhere else in the mall? Because I know like the rink is one thing, but it's a big mall.
Yeah, so to be honest, the rink just works best for even just central location in the mall. Like, I don't know if you've been out to Edmonton, Joel, to be honest, and if you haven't, it's a great city.
Well,
But,
you fly me out and I'll make the trek.
Yeah, that's fair. Got to
Gotta
pay the
help me,
commissioners.
brother.
Got to pay the commissioners' rents. You know, there was definitely some talk. But, you know, the pirate ship, perfect example, just simply wouldn't have fit on there. There were a couple of different little staging areas that would have been cool and would have been able to work. But if you're trying to make something a bit of a marquee, right? You know, and I heard you guys talking there about the Mall of America earlier, and it's a perfect comparison. If we're trying to do something comparable to that and something that's comparable to it's just a landmark in professional wrestling, right? So if we're attempting to do the same here, why wouldn't we try and make her bigger, better, and badder? So there were a couple of spots that we considered, but ice rink just made the most sense.
Do people get like discounts on the mall? You go to a wrestling show, 30% off. I don't know, Hot Topic. But if they have a Hot Topic there,
they do have a Hot Topic. You're only a legitimate mall if you have a Hot Topic and a below the belt. Okay. Other than that, you're just a sparkling outdoor mall. But
Toronto Eaton Center is a below sparkling mall, whatever the hell that was that you said.
I don't know. It's only a real mall if it's from the mall region of France. But where was I even going with that one? See, I made me laugh.
Coupons,
ruins
baby.
everything. But no, to be honest, West Edmonton Mall's handling some of that sponsorship end of things. I don't know if there's going to be any sort of discount packages, anything like that. We've got a couple of sponsors on tap that we're going to be announcing in the next couple of weeks that are going to be doing some cool stuff as far as the meet and greet goes and hopefully providing some food options. But right now, nothing's confirmed there. It's been kind of fun over the last month or so since we officially announced the event to really get to start pushing on that stuff because I know they want to make this a spectacle as badly as we do. And that's a really great thing in professional wrestling. So I'm sure they're going to come up with some rad stuff in there.
I got an Auntie Anne's out there in this mall. I feel like that's in every mall, right?
A what, sorry?
Auntie Anne's?
It's a pretzel place.
No, we have a Wetzel's Pretzels.
What now? Get
That's
out
like,
of here with
it's like
Wetzels.
lower tier, or at least it's there.
It's just a sparkling pretzel.
Outta here.
Stop it.
We got a Wetzel's Pretzels. We got a Cinzio as well, too, which is kind of like a Cinnabon. Yeah.
That one
really
I've never
good.
heard of. I don't know that
What,
one.
Cinzio?
Yeah, it's great. It's my little treat to myself at the end of a day at the mall. I'll always stop there. They've got a booster juice right beside it. It's a good little stop. That's not even sponsored yet. call me Cinzio. You have an email from me.
No, do they? Do they?
Really? Oh, of course, brother.
No.
I'm not just a room renter, dude. I'm a promoter. Get this out there. We got to spread the good word of the West Edmonton Brawl.
So you are a promoter, and it's so wild to me. And you and I talked about this on air, off air, in different conversations, that like you made that pivot and you've been doing this. What, I mean, listen, West Edmonton Brawl is next, but like, shoot your shot. What's after that? What's bigger? What's on the agenda?
I gotta be honest, dude. I looked at every year. I've become a big goal setter over the last few years, to be honest with you. And at the start of the year, I sat down and set out just some goals as far as what we wanted to do for, people we wanted to book, venues we wanted to run, X, Y, and Z. We've crossed a lot of them off, which is pretty cool. There are definitely a couple. We're lucky enough to be a part of the Purple City Music Festival coming up here in Edmonton in September. But they're just local to Edmonton, which is going to be rad. But I'd really love to do like an overnight festival, like a Big Valley Jamboree or something like that would be really, really neat. But to be honest with you, man, the biggest thing for me in the next little bit is I want to take Love Pro Wrestling on the road a little bit more. It'd be very, very cool to break some ground in new cities. Just with the greater Edmonton area, it's a lot like the GTA, and like we've got a lot of smaller towns around Edmonton that we could sort of start to pick off, whether it's Leduc or Sherwood Park would be really close to the heart for me. So starting to spread the good word of Love Pro Wrestling, we're very lucky that we've been able to run some of the historic venues out here, some of the biggest venues, some of the coolest venues coming up. So now it's really try and expand. I love Edmonton, Alberta with my whole heart, but there are so many great cities in here that could use some great pro wrestling. So that's really the next big goal for me. I've got a couple other things, some irons in the fire as far as some cool venues, but you're just going to have me back on. You're stuck with me now.
Well,
or not, whatever.
You're always welcome here. You're always welcome. Is Connor McDavid going to show up? Let's just promote it and just,
I've started to realize with this whole card subject to change thing,
yeah,
you can just pretend people are booked.
Roman Reigns.
Say travel happened. Sorry,
former
guys.
Edmonton Elk. Yeah, former Edmonton Elk is coming back to Edmonton. Oh, shoot. WestJet.
Global outage. It happened again.
Microsoft.
Local only to the Edmonton region. I apologize.
No refunds. No, I think it'd be very, very cool. Again, we've started to approach some people, even as far as quick little appearances or coming out. Like, we want to make this a staple event for Edmonton, to be honest with you. It's never been done. And I think a lot of people, that phrase gets used so often in professional wrestling. It's a first time ever match. It's historic. It's the greatest wrestling match ever. It's a whole lot of hyperbole in the sport we work in, guys. But like this is history in the making. There has never been anything like this. And for me, and for us, I think I'm speaking for all the staff and all the workers and everyone in between, like, to be in our second year. We had our 2-year anniversary in March, right? So to be able to be crossing stuff like this off of the proverbial bucket list this early, fuck, that's cool.
Listen, you gotta put over Zach. You gotta put over your boy.
You do not even need to try and drag that one out of me. All right, this ain't a pluggo situation. All right,
this isn't fightful. I get it. We don't put each other over on our platform. Not our gimmick. But you guys are happier people.
I don't know. I don't know if happier is necessarily the phrase.
More supportive of each other.
There we go. That's what we'll go with.
In front of the camera. Behind the scenes is different.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll sort of go a little bit more like this. What can't you say about Zach though, man? Like, it has been very cool for me. Like, I've said this too, but like, he was quite literally the first person I approached when I was starting Love Wrestling in September of 2020. He was the first guy, and he was a great podcaster. He is a great podcaster. I was a huge fan of the Smark and Friends podcast, but even to see what's happened since sort of the end of that podcast, whether it be like, I was sitting here in my boxer shorts and a tank top until about 20 minutes before I hopped on, because old Zach and I hosted Quizplex last night. But to see what he's been able to do on that end of things, getting out there and covering the WWE and TNA and really making a mark on that end of things. And then, it goes without saying, but I stand by. There's not a lot of stuff that you can confidently say in pro wrestling. We are the best at this. Zach Ralph is the best graphic designer in the game, hands down, in my opinion. And by no means is that a shot at anybody. That is everything for Zach. I really think that with Love Pro, what we've been able to do on the branding end has differentiated us. So, yeah, man, what can't you say about Zach? One hell of a human being. He's great at what he does. That guy's got so much care to what he does in pro wrestling. It's you don't do anything great without great people surrounding you. And I'll always go back to that. And Love Wrestling wouldn't be what it is if I didn't luck into approaching Zach, to be honest with you.
I only got him in trouble once this weekend. It's okay.
He told me last night.
And it was only by proxy. And we haven't told the story yet. Don't worry.
Oh, I can't wait for that one. I got a good laugh out of that. Got a real good laugh out of that one. Thanks. Tune into the run-in coming up.
That's right. Yeah. Listen, I did one, and who else did one? JBJ did one, and we're not going to talk about the third one just yet until it pops up. Hey, Superman Bassmaster sends a message saying it's Kenny Spenny.
Thanks, Stud. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Thanks for hopping in.
Oh man. Jared.
Yeah, I got a very, very good laugh out of that one last night. Zach told me that one post Quizplex. I'm sure you can imagine how that went.
He wanted to be in the room with me for that, and I gave him the full experience.
You fly too close to the sun, Icarus.
I kind of know what's happening now.
Zach was with me for that. Zach had asked to come with me for that, and I was very happy to oblige. I love having him around, and yeah, you
were very happy to oblige.
Yes, I
was. Maybe that'll see the light of day. Maybe it won't. Who knows?
I think it will.
I truly hope it does. We'll reveal it on Love Pro Wrestling Programming 8 months from now to get Joel some heat.
No, you don't have to wait to get me the heat.
Joel's got enough heat from that.
Depending on the company, there's always some somewhere.
Yeah,
that's fair. Well, don't think that ain't a boat that we're sharing, brother.
Yeah, great inside joke podcasting, guys. Sorry, I can't let y'all in on everything, but I'm
not here for everybody. I'm here to pop 6 boys in the back. See, that is an everybody joke.
Listen, we'll have more than 6 boys in the back at West Edmonton Brawl. Love Pro Wrestling puts that on. It's going to be Saturday, August 17th at the West Edmonton Mall. I'm gonna mess up Brawl and Mall 100.
I've done it so often too already, dude. Don't worry, you're fine.
It's at the Ice Palace. Go get your tickets now. WEM.ca/brawl. That's where you can get your tickets, or just go over to any of Love Pro Wrestling or Love Wrestling socials. The ticket links are there, okay? And they are affordable. I'm looking at them. They are affordable. Get them, okay?
That they are. You can come and check them out for an affordable price this Thursday and Friday at the Rec Room South Edmonton Common if you want a little amuse-bouche of Love Pro Wrestling before you head out for our main course on August 17th. I only just learned that phrase. I've started watching cooking shows again, so expect to hear that. It's a little amuse-bouche, a little tester of Love Pro.
You're making us money. Calling me Stud with another 5 or 6 Superman Bassmaster. Thank you so much.
Give me diabetes. You're so sweet.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'll call him a Stud. I'll call him a Stud. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you, guys. It's always good to see you. I will see you in the chat in about 45 seconds after I take the headphone.
We got you.
I'll see you guys. Love you, dudes.
So much for letting me hop
on.
Of course. Anytime. Good luck.
Bye, buddy.
See you.
Oh, there you go. Spencer Love. Is there water? I mean, it's on an ice rink. So
yeah, just bring a hair dryer, plug it in, melt the ice, get your own water, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that how that works?
Pretty sure the ice is melted before they put the stuff down on the. I don't know that though. I don't know that for sure. Sometimes they just put the boards down and the ice is artificially cooled. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how ice is built.
We love our Spencer Love on this show. He's always fun to talk to. Any of the Love Wrestling folks. I spent a lot of time with them this weekend. I mentioned it, made reference to Zach. Zach is the host of Quizplex and other shows on Love Wrestling's video, and I guess they're mostly video, but they do audio too on their platform. Zach was there for TNA Slammiversary. So was Lawrence, who's fantastic. Love him to bits. And of course, JPJ came in all the way from Boston, made the decision at the last minute to come and join in. I had an extra ticket and he's like, I'm driving down. And I was like, we ain't going to stay in my hotel room. He's like, I'm going to get my own hotel room. And he did. He hung out with us all weekend. It was a good time. It's really, really fun weekend for a lot of reasons. So there we go. There we go.
You're going to get in trouble from this past weekend.
I'm probably going to get in trouble from this last weekend. That's true. If I'm already in trouble, then what am I doing?
I don't know. I ask myself that every single day.
Just wait until you read the spoilers on Fightful.com about Impact. It's all good. Again, this was the other spoiler that they did for themselves. The wedding of PCO and Steph Delander was up.
We spoiled that. We knew that was coming.
I saw it coming a mile away, and I asked Steph about it on our interview last Monday. And baby, did it ever work out for us? They put down the promo cards on people's seats at Slammiversary.
Yeah, I saw you post that.
Yeah, U+1. I was just like, come on, you couldn't at least wait? Like, you couldn't hand the cards out at the end of the night after the show was over? Like,
right?
What are we doing? You should. Go ahead.
I saw you post that, and I immediately just pre-wrote the story. I was like, oh, there's gonna be a proposal tonight, so let's go ahead and pre-write this.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. You knew it was coming. There's also, if you can vamp for 2 seconds, there's a newspaper that they printed, and I want to show it a little bit, if I may. So okay, just vamp for 2 seconds.
Vamping for 2 seconds. Joel lied.
More than 2 seconds.
It took him more than 2 seconds, everybody. He told me to vamp for 2 seconds. I tried to vamp for 2 seconds, and then he is still away doing something. Very dumb. Louis says, best wrestling angle of the year. It's got to be pretty close. Yeah. It's better than anything WWE and AEW are doing. I'm sure there's some good stuff going on in NWA.
So they were giving these out.
It's a scoop on there. My God.
Yes, it's the Scoop La Lutte Professionnelle at the Verdun Auditorium. So
that's a true dirt sheet.
Yes. So they did it. And this was all created by TNA. Okay. So you can see all this stuff. There are so many errors in here, like stupid mistakes. And I took a photo of a couple of them. I just want to point this out. This is the 2 funniest ones that you can find. Here's the first one. Where is it? Papers.
Does anyone these pages earmarked? Joel, what's wrong with you?
No, I'm a professional. In that I professionally want these things to remain pristine, even though I already folded the paper. Look at that name.
Mustafa Aliv.
Oh. Mustafa Aliv.
Well,
very exciting.
Unfortunate. There's
another one in here, but it's going to be too small to see. But they listed Jordan Grace as, I shit you not. I posted this one too. So I do a whole card rundown right here.
Yes.
Jordan Grace is listed as from St. Louis, Missouri. Not true. 315 pounds.
Well, got the bodybuilder gimmick going on, brother.
Super heavyweight Jordan Grace over here. PCO is listed 248. AJ Francis is listed 330. Jordan Grace is 15 pounds lighter than AJ Francis.
Jordan Grace could kick the shit out of AJ Francis.
That is true. You guys want a fun scoop? I didn't even give this one to Sean because this one's so stupid.
Wow.
I met AJ Francis this weekend. Met him in person before the show. Day before the show. Just having a casual chat. Did you see, you were watching the show, am I right?
Yeah.
Did you see a sign in the front row that said, if AJ wins, we riot? Did you see that sign?
No.
It's in the front row, opposite of the hard camera. So it's on TV side, but the guy's facing the ring, like from the ramp. Okay. So you could see it in a couple of shots. Maybe some people saw it. I don't know. Do you know who made that sign, Jeremy Lambert?
JPJ.
No, you currently are sitting on camera with the guy who made that sign.
You made it.
I was told. Not told. We joked about the John Cena one night stand 06 06. If Cena wins, we riot.
Yeah.
And he's like, I wish someone would make that sign for me in Montreal. And I said, bet. And he said, no friggin' way. And I said, let's do it. So I got the.
It was a planted sign.
It was a planted sign, but it wasn't me. And you want to know how
I know it wasn't you.
Well, so I'll tell you how I got it there. We get inside. And by the way, that is the least like egregious thing that I brought into the TNA tapings. We'll talk about that one in a second. You want to talk about getting heat on me? It's fine. I go and I get my seats with the Love Wrestling guys. We get our seats. It's GA for the seating area, the non-floor seats. So we got our sign, we get our seats, and I got the sign. I'm like, it's not going to be on TV like this. I'm like, I got to give it to someone in the front row, but I don't know who's sitting in the front row. Place fills in. Start looking around. They're pretty chill. You know, the security. They're doing their job, but they're not being militant. And I was like, let me go down there one sec. And I run down the stairs and I go to security. I'm like, hey, I got to give the sign over here to my friend. And the guy's like, all right, whatever. So I go and I sit down and like, we're at the pre-show. And I go to the dude and I'm just like, hey, this is going to sound really strange. This sign, I need you to hold it up for AJ Francis. He might come over and rip it up, but that's cool. And the guy's like, yeah, no problem. No, he does. And he is all in on it. Like the dude was really cool when I gave him the sign.
He wanted his TV time.
He wanted his TV time. But most people some people aren't like that. Some people are just there. So so he had the sign, he put it up. He was like all night, like whenever AJ was around, he was just like, like putting it in his face. It was very funny. But yeah, so I went.
Did you ask AJ Francis to battle rap me?
No, but I did see if I saw him afterwards because they did a signing thing up in the area where we were coming out after the show on Sunday. And he's like, I saw the sign, and he laughed. I was like, can't believe you did it. So yes, we did. Silly, stupid stuff. The wrestling. Planted signs, baby. That's my jam now. $20 pop. If you want me to get a planted sign into your show, I'll do it. $20.
Can't believe you didn't ask him to battle rap me. You were right there, Joel. What are you doing?
I should have. I know. That'll be the next step. I will say this. Like I said, not the most egregious thing I brought into the show. I walked in to the TV tapings with an entire pizza, Jeremy Lambert.
Oh, what kind of pizza?
An entire ass pizza that we had left over from lunch.
What kind of pizza?
We had two. We consolidated. There was a pepperoni one, pretty straightforward, and then the other one was a chicken and veggies. So it was like mushroom, broccoli, and red peppers. Delicious, by the way. No, so good, so good. So we brought that into the show. They didn't even ask questions. They just saw.
Where was it from?
I'm not going to give them free promotion, but it was a good place near the auditorium. It was good stuff.
You're not going to give them free promotion.
I'm not going to give them free publicity. I snuck their pizza into the show. That's free promotion for them. They broke down the catering walls.
Was it Pizza Hut?
No, it was a local joint. They did a deal where it was like a family style meal because it was the four of us. It was me, Zach, JPJ.
Local pizza near Verdun.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. I think this place was called.
Let's crack the code here, everybody. Was it Well Done Pizza?
No.
Done near the Verdun?
No, although that would have been very funny.
Pizzeria 5 Savours?
No, it's called Stands with a Z.
No, that's not as fun. Stands with a Z?
Yeah, STANZ.
Boo.
Stands.
That was a disappointing finish to that story.
Yeah, well, you weren't going to find it very easily, so here I am. Anyway, it was good. The pizza was good. We got ourselves a good combo, and then we realized we couldn't eat all of it. 2 pizzas and 2 full-size poutines.
Cowards.
I know. They have a pizza up there. They do, actually. There was one near the venue as well. Anyway, brought a pizza.
Sounds like you had a good time, Joel.
It was a good time. It was good for the most part. There's going to be some stuff coming out soon. Some interviews, some content. Maybe that will be dropping. Looking forward to all that coming out. Maybe. Where should we go next?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know who I have heat with, but apparently I have heat.
Everybody.
It's true. Everybody hates me these days.
Fair.
I mean, for you, it's par for the course.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, man, I don't understand why people don't like me. I don't get it. I don't understand. No, I'm a very likable human being. What are we doing? Jonathan sends a super chat saying Monday's episode of Monday Night Raw is set up for an elaborate plan. Liv Morgan and Dom Mysterio and Finn Balor got Rhea Ripley to fall right into their trap. Liv's fake tears got people fooled. Rhea now has false sense of security with Dominic, excited for SummerSlam, not Survivor Series.
Maybe Survivor Series.
Could be Survivor Series. Maybe John is really doing that long-term storytelling that they talk about. Excited for SummerSlam. SummerSlam is on the horizon. It's coming up. Last Monday, I guess this was 2 days ago, on Monday Night Raw, we saw the lick heard around the world. Michael Cole made reference to it, so it was heard in your ears. They commentated on it. That was a lick. After Liv Morgan tried to get Dom to say the 3 magic words, Dom went nuts and decided in split screen, which made me laugh more than it probably should have, that they split screen this whole angle. Dominic saying, "I hate you," speaking a whole lot of ish, and Liv put on the crocodile tears. Or maybe they were real, who knows? And then Rhea was so happy that she not only licked him, I know that's what people are talking about, but for me, the kiss was intense. Yeah, people, depends what sect you're talking to. Okay, some people were really into it. But if you get to the kiss, that was the moment that got me thinking. That's the first time that Rhea's had any public form of PDA with Dom. That's a moment. Because it's been talked about.
She wrapped her legs around that man's throat. That's very PDA.
They were clothed at that point. It was a little different.
Oh.
People wrap their legs around people. Look at the move Naomi does. Okay, where she grabs her opponents in her knees and she thrusts them into her backside. That's not a PDA. That's a wrestling move. One could say that what you're saying, what Rhea did, was a wrestling move. This was a kiss. This was a kiss and a lick. It was a kiss. It was both.
So we were watching Too Hot to Handle last night,
which is basically Monday Night Raw.
New season is out now. And they're playing this game with what I like to call the sexual assault dice, where they roll the dice and it comes up. Yeah, it comes up of like, you got to do this action to this body part. I feel like they use these on Raw they rolled the sexual assault dice and they came up lick cheek. And so that is what happened on Raw. Rhea licked Dominic's cheek after Liv Morgan threw ass. I feel like that's basically what happened.
Is that what it was?
She threw it Dominic's way. These were choices made on this show.
What, you don't like these choices?
I don't know.
Wait, which show? Are we talking about Monday Night Raw or are we still talking about Too Hot to Handle?
Look, Too Hot to Handle is friggin' just a mess of a show altogether, honestly.
So is Raw, though.
You know, Raw is...
Hold on, I gotta find that. So, Sean Lindsay in the chat saying, I did see a clip of old blonde Rhea from a PC video saying the licking someone's face was weird. And look at her now. I gotta find that thing. If it's out there, I'm sure it's there. I have to find this. It's very funny. Just juxtaposed over the licking of Dominic's face. She branded him? What is that? She marked her territory?
Yeah, she marked her territory. Yeah, just licked his face.
She licked his face. A lot of people were talking about what Liv was wearing, and it's sure, okay, that's for you, good for you. But this whole thing got me thinking, what happens next? Jana was just saying that this could be a big turn. A lot of people are saying the same thing. It's actually Dom and Liv are together the whole time. But then I'm also wondering, where does Finn come into all this? Because this has all been a Finn Balor inclusion. The hotel room key, the getting out of the car. He's always been around. So what is Finn doing? And how does Finn fit into this? If it turns out that Dom and Liv are together, what does Finn do?
Maybe he just sides with... He masterminded. He's Cupid.
He master whatted? Oh, minded, sorry.
He's Cupid, right?
Is this a throuple?
Well, JD's there as well. I don't think they don't. Why do they don't got to be like dating? He got them together. He thinks Liv is a better match for him than Rhea.
Yeah, but Dom and Liv are a thing.
Yeah.
Finn getting out of the car after Dom did whatever he did with Liv is kind of a thing. At least it makes it feel that way. It feels like a throuple.
Why has it got to be a throuple? Why can't Finn just see that one person's better for him, for Dom, than the other person?
Shouldn't have. Having stayed in a hotel for the last few nights, this pops me tremendously. We all know which chair he was sitting in. That is true. I feel like it makes sense and it doesn't make sense simultaneously, because Rhea and Dom have always been so much stronger than Liv and Dom. And I get that now, Finn can say, look what Liv did. She helped you beat your dad. You've always wanted to do that. Rhea never did that. She's the women's world champion. And that happened because of you, not because of Rhea. Rhea was women's world champion on her own. There is a certain amount of mind games that one can play to get there. And again, the idea is down the line further, Dominic sees the error of his ways and maybe rejoins Rhea, assuming that he aligns with Liv and Finn. There is a redemption angle for Dom, and we're not anywhere near there yet because the crowd is not ready to cheer him more than they did this past week on Monday nights. And they did that. They cheered because he did that for Rhea, not because he did that. So there's a really good amount of storytelling going there.
I think Dom helps Liv at SummerSlam, continues to be a prick, continues to get booed. I think this all culminates with a turn for Rhea and then Priest as well, because they're making Priest out to be a babyface with this Gunther story. So I think it's Rhea and Priest as babyfaces. I'm kind of with Louis. The story is like, I get it.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about.
That's fair.
It's like, wait, what?
Writing Straw Ben Bishop should be part of it. Like, I get the story. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but I don't think it's as productive as it was before. I think they've maybe gone a little bit to one way that they didn't need to go with it. And
what way is that? Out of just curiosity and out of clarification.
A little bit too much with the sexual innuendos and the sex side of things. I don't think it needed to go as far as they've really pushed with it. I think you could still do this story without a lot of that stuff. I know it's getting people talking. A lot of people do enjoy it. And then you got the people of like, this is Divas era stuff. I don't think it's that bad because the women are still the focal point and they are using Dom. They are not being used. I think we should try to make that clear. Where in the Divas era, the women felt like the objects. They were objectified. In this, I don't feel like they are being objectified by superior men. Rhea is very much in control. Liv seems very much in control. Dom is the one who is the puppy dog of which side is he going to be on. Who they're fighting for Dom's affection. Dom does not have real control over them. So I don't think it's as bad as the Diva era stuff. I do think that some of the way they are presenting it, they maybe didn't need to do that. But they've gone this far with it. They're going to continue to go a little bit further, I'm sure, as the story continues. I don't know how much further. But maybe they could have done it in a different way to where we don't have throwing ass on screen the way Liv did.
I see that. I do see this as two women one-upping each other for the affection of someone while also maintaining dominance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because Dominic is very much the almost undeserving recipient of this attention. And again, I'm speaking storyline wise. The way that he's presented is he is a pawn. He's a pawn in a fight between two women who are absolutely, they hate each other. And how do you get to one person? You use the most, you use the person that they're closest to. And in Liv's revenge to her mind, going after Rhea's submissive toy, whatever you want to call him, he still means something to her. And he doesn't know what to do because he's been given all the power, and we talked about this. He's getting a false sense of power, and he's growing up before our eyes on TV. That's the story. Rhea comes back and she wants everything to be back to the way they were. She mentioned it, Priest is going to defend his title. I'm going to get my women's world championship back. The Judgment Day is going to rule Monday Night Raw just like we did before I left. She's so stuck on wanting to be that person that Liv can easily take advantage of that. So for me, the story is less about the sexual aspects of it are more of a manipulative way of storytelling. Like that's how they're telling the stories through it's sexual manipulation, but it's not actual sex. It's just implied or at least innuendo. And I don't think they've
certainly implied and innuendoed.
Yeah. No, I get that. But to me, it hasn't gone that far beyond when they did. We talked about it on the show when they did the text message bits, and we were both like, that's just in poor taste in real life, and given the circumstances of what's with the lawsuit and everything that's gone on in the WWE world, that was too far. And I'm glad they stepped that back, and like they've still done some stuff that, yeah, I get it, can be a little hypersexual, but I feel like that was all the point, because we're dealing with Dominic Mysterio, he's been sexualized. He has been, just as much as the women have, but he's been sexualized in a way that he is someone's something. He's not the boyfriend, but he was always someone's like object of affection. And now they're fighting over the object of affection, but manipulatively, so that one can get to the other and then beat the other or suppress the other. So like it makes sense from a storytelling device. I don't feel that it's been too. I don't think they've gone too far beyond the example that I just mentioned with the text messages.
Okay. I mean, I see it. I get it. I'm not uncomfortable. I just said I watch Too Hot to Handle. I watch a lot of garbage reality television.
The MILF Manor is
it's very hard to make me. I understand that it's a television show, and when I watch television shows, they have scenarios like this. So I get all of that. I just wonder if there were better ways to do it, where you don't have to go as far on the sexual side with this as they have. You mentioned, like, yeah, they haven't obviously done a live sex celebration, but look, we got mounting and missionarying on television. Okay. Those are two things that happened. We had Dominic's face in Liv's crotch area. This is stuff that happened on this show. So they've gone about as far as you're going to go without fully going with clothes on there.
Can't wait for Netflix, they say. There was a chat, actually. This is a good one from Why Syllable saying, do you think they're playing on the popularity of Rhea's sexual appeal? And yeah, absolutely. She's very popular outside of wrestling because she is so different and so beautiful, but also just not the stereotype of beauty. And I think people really have gravitated towards that. There's that word that people love, aura, and it's there with her. So yeah, they're absolutely leaning into it because of that. She's also a really, 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 really good wrestler too, but she hasn't been able to show you that over the last few months. And I think that kind of plays into the general outline of the story, is that they can't fight because she's not cleared. I mean, she's about to be. Liv Morgan has this is again something you and I have brought up. She's been champion, but she's only really had one actual title defense or one serious one, and that was what, Zelina Vega, and that was what it was. Other than that, it's just been kind of biding our time to get back to Rhea. I wish they had built Liv more as an active competitor champion and not some chicken shit heel who's trying to manipulate her way through this title run to get back to Rhea.
It is, I think back what Becky Lynch said when Rhea did the stink face spot on a live event where, like, it's a live event, it's fun and everything. And then Shayna Baszler had fun with it and stuff like that. And Becky is just like, what are we doing this Divas era stuff for? And now we're doing this on television. And I'm just thinking about Becky Lynch being at home, watching some of this and just being like, thought we had progressed a little bit. And maybe we haven't.
But meanwhile, what's going on SmackDown in the women's division? How's that presentation? Is that presentation better, worse compared to the Raw one? I'm not talking about the booking because you can feel how you feel about it, but Nia Jax, Bayley, and Tiffany Stratton, it's part of that's part of their storytelling. The one thing I don't like about that one is just the fact that Bayley is talking about, Nia Jax is an unsafe worker and just getting a little too cutesy with the, pulling back the curtain.
What's part of their storytelling?
Part of they're not sexualizing it, but part of their storytelling is that it's another 3-way women's feud, but it's not sexualized. But also they've added, like the BBL Bayley stuff. Like
that was a line by Nia that was just a line. That's not part of the story.
You're right. My point is, if you're talking about the sexualization and did we really move anything forward, that's, there's the other side of it. You've got one that is a sexualized kind of storyline, and then on the other side, you've got what's going on SmackDown. And would you contrast the two? I can speak, I promise. If you compare and contrast the two, have things moved forward positively in the presentation of the women's division?
I think that this story with Bayley and Nia Jax is fine. I don't know if I understand it bringing up the history, but then just basically saying like, yeah, this is fake. You're unsafe. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. So that's just where I'm at on it. I was saying I'm fantasy booking wrestlers' inner thoughts. I'm not fantasy booking it. I've commented on what Becky literally said and then wondering what she is thinking. I didn't fantasy book what she is actually thinking. I'm wondering. She said the Divas era comment when Rhea was doing the stink face. So I'm wondering, she's sitting at home. What is she thinking when she watches this? Don't know. Maybe I can ask her.
Let's ask her. Let's get her on this show. We're going to ask her. Send her a tweet right now. Becky Lynch, how do you feel?
How do you feel about this story with Liv and Rhea Ripley?
That's what everyone needs to know, is Becky Lynch's take on the storyline.
I'd like Becky Lynch to return.
It'll come. I mean, it'll be a little while, but it's coming. Instead, how about CM Punk comes back?
Yeah, they're gonna do the Survivor Series spot.
The SummerSlam. SummerSlam 97. Yeah. Listen, did you expect Seth? Do you expect Seth to have a out there crazy referee or attire?
Nah, you should go with the Shawn Michaels look.
The shorts and the sparkly, yeah.
It should be a bedazzled referee shirt.
I agree. Someone actually on the Raw Post show pitched that it should be the Jeff Jarrett referee shirt, and I've never been more in agreement.
It's good.
That's the one. It should light up. Beep, beep, beep. It's just yeah. It should just light. It should be a light bright shirt. I'm sure Seth will hate it, but he'll wear it. RONNINS. Double L.
Double L. What?
Ron
Spelling, Joel.
Spelling, speaking. I'm way out of practice. It's fine. So CM Punk announces he's cleared. Drew McIntyre comes out, says, "No, we're not gonna fight in Green Bay, you bitch." And that's before, by the way, CM Punk doing his best Seinfeld reference, doing like Green Bay. The Bay isn't green, but we're in Green Bay. What's up with that? Is the Bay supposed to be green? What's the deal with round team? And Drew McIntyre says he's not going to fight him. They're going to do the match SummerSlam. Adam Pearce comes out before the big skirmish starts, and he says, "Hey, none of the referees want to work with you, Drew, because you're a bitch. So here's Seth Rollins. He's going to be the special guest referee." Seth comes out in his can't even tell you what it was attire, and we're gonna have that match. Punk and Drew. That's the hot match. Add in Seth Rollins. Is that better, worse, or just the same when it comes to the story of this match?
I think it's worse in that he's unnecessary. And I love Seth, but he hasn't been part of the feud up until him and Punk have go back to November and everything. But then it became Drew and Punk at Rumble. And then Seth kind of got reinserted in there. They're trying to tell the three-way story. So it makes sense. I don't want to say it doesn't make sense, because it does. But I don't know if it's necessary for Drew and Punk and what they've fully been building, especially when you can look at it and just see, yeah, they're probably just going to do the SummerSlam 97 angle, which is fine. It seems like CM Punk gets to live out a Bret Hart fantasy of he gets to beat Drew. Drew and Seth can have Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood. And then I guess you'll get Seth and Punk at Survivor Series. That's my guess on things. But they might wait till Mania on that one. I don't know if they want to do that one in Survivor Series. They might wait until Mania.
I would play it out till Mania. Would you make it for the title like it was originally supposed to be?
Yeah, Seth would probably have to dethrone Gunther.
Which they did kind of tease that, going into before SummerSlam, but before the Gunther match was official. They started teasing it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't hate that. But it could happen. But then when do you take, or does Gunther just not win the title at SummerSlam?
Poor Drew of this guy just can't catch a break out here. If he's going to lose to Punk, see, I'm of the belief that Drew should beat Punk. I don't want them doing the SummerSlam rehash out here. I want Drew to beat Punk clean as a sheet and then move on. And then, what are you going to do with Punk after that? But I'm sure they can figure it out from there. But I think Drew should beat Punk. Punk at some point has got to take an L. He's got a lot of W's over old Drew.
You know what? He doesn't take any L's, and the first L he ever takes is against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and that's Punk, not Drew. Drew just goes on his merry way, and that's the end of that.
Drew's the baby face here.
Allegedly.
Not allegedly, he is.
I mean, depends who you speak to.
No, I'm telling you.
Oh, okay. Why do you have to tell me?
Drew's the babyface. He's been screwed over by CM Punk at every turn.
Yeah, but he's been saying stuff that makes you feel like he's being kind of a dick.
CM Punk's been saying stuff too.
This is just like the Joe Hendry conversation that Cresta and I had. That Joe Hendry is a heel, and he confirmed as much, by the way, in his Jericho interview. But I digress. We can talk about that another time. What if they're both heels? What if they all just suck?
I mean, in somebody's mind, everybody's a heel.
That is true. Are you a heel?
Sure.
Are you my heel? No, I feel like I'm your heel. It's fine. It's okay. The idea of having Seth in this match, again, it makes sense that the idea, like we just talked about, is to get to CM Punk and Seth at WrestleMania. That's fine. I guess we have to do Seth and Drew. That's clearly back on the table. What's the Hell in a Cell match?
Seth and Drew.
Is Seth and Drew is the Hell in a Cell match?
Yeah, Punk, I don't think's working Hell in a Cell. I mean, he said as much.
But I love the idea of Punk saying as much and then him just being like, I didn't want, just Punk being Punk keeping kayfabe and doing the misdirection. I'm not doing this match. I'm not doing this match. And then he goes ahead and he does
misdirection.
Yeah, because he said in that press conference, right? Don't fantasy book me Hell in a Cell. I don't want to do that stuff. And then he's gonna get booked for Hell in a Cell. And he's gonna get booked in a street fight. And he's gonna get booked in all this stuff that he had said. I don't want to do this stuff.
How do you miss your erection?
Well, you don't miss your erection.
That's what you said. He missed his erection.
Well, no, you never really miss it. There's a pill that can help you with that. We're not sponsored by them, so I'm just not going to mention them. But if you go to the main channel, they mention it there. You'll never miss it there. Yeah, Punk and Hell in a Cell would be hilarious. Punk said, okay, so there you go. He said if you book their first match as Hell in a Cell. Well, we're not doing first match, but you can easily do that.
Well, he also just said, I don't want to fucking do that shit. I don't want to do Hell in a Cell. I want to do ladder matches.
I'm fine with that because he's a brittle-boned being, we have discovered. No offense. He knows his limitations. I'm fine with it being Drew and Seth, but I think there's some comedy in CM Punk being like, I don't want to do these matches and then being put into these matches. Or maybe he wanted it. Maybe he just wants to be team player Punk. Locker room leader CM Punk, right?
I don't think he wants to do any of that shit. I don't blame him.
Work
smarter, not harder, folks.
That's true. Well, he hasn't had to work much, so I guess we're doing okay. I like that this has come together. I like that all three men have beef with each other and can all work with each other, and that all three configurations can probably take us through to WrestleMania. That's good. You need those stories. It's not like Dominic and Rhea can have a match. Well, they could. They could.
Might.
Oh, they might. There's your Hell in a Cell match. Jesus Christ, let's go.
I actually like that.
Dominic and Rhea in a Hell in a Cell match. Is Liv the special guest referee?
No, because we know what side Liv's on.
That's fair. What does Liv do in the match?
Nothing. It's Hell in a Cell. Keep these idiots out of the match.
So she's under the ring, is what you're saying.
Stop.
Well, what if every match at Bad Blood is a Hell in a Cell match?
I don't need people interfering in Hell in a Cell match. That defeats the purpose of it.
It's Lethal Lockdown. It's a pay-per-view and it's all cage matches, all Hell in a Cell matches.
Well, they don't have to build the structure like Impact and TNA with like, oh yeah, we're just going to take this thing apart 5 times on the show and we'll just leave it up.
Lazy ass. I remember that pay-per-view when it was 2016 when they ran 3 Hell in a Cell matches. Hell of a year for WWE. Oh man, SummerSlam's taking shape. I liked it.
I feel like the card's done.
Yeah,
I don't know what else they're gonna add to it.
They've already got 7 matches. I feel like anything that's added from now on, too many, but it's going to be a 4-hour show. They're starting at 7. I feel like this is their bigger show of the year. I could see them going 7 till 11. What did it end at 11 o'clock? No. When did Money in the Bank end? It was about a 3.5-hour show.
Yeah, give or take.
So I could see this going till 11:30. But
last
again,
year's SummerSlam was 9 matches.
Last year's SummerSlam was long too. Was that Nashville?
Yeah, that Roman and Jay match lasted about 15 hours. It was Detroit.
That was Detroit. You're right. That was a hell of a time. But also you got to make room for the Jelly Roll concerts because they're doing that too.
Yeah.
That's 3 songs. That's 15-20 minutes.
I don't think he's done 3 songs.
I think he's gonna do at least 2, maybe 3 songs.
If he brings out Eminem to do "Save Me," that's all I care about.
Well, they're not in Detroit.
I know.
They're They're not there.
I'm still holding out hope for a surprise appearance. That's all I care about. I'm going to SummerSlam to hopefully see an Eminem concert.
You're not going to be seeing anything from that press box. You're going to be seeing.
I'm not saying in the press box.
Oh, you're not? Oh, you doing the regular gimmick?
I'm not press. Sean's working the event.
No, have fun with that. I knew that, but I also thought that maybe you were also going to be there.
Nope.
Oh, that is a very interesting story. Ooh, let's ask that question.
I don't think you will.
You don't know that. You can ask him. You'll be there, sitting in the press box.
Working at the press.
Oh, but you got legitimate seats in the end?
I hope.
Are they good seats?
I hope.
This is the same conversation that followed me around in Montreal. Where are your seats? Mm-mm. Where will you be sitting? Mm-mm. Where did they put you? Mm-mm. GA, good luck. That's what they gave me. They gave me the GL section, the good luck section. Oh God. Anyway, yeah, enjoy Jelly Roll. It'll be fun. I mean, he's good. He's fun. He's entertaining. But I think he'll be a few minutes, and they got to do the setup and the teardown too. I just hope that they don't. I just hope they don't do the concert in the ring like they did with that. Remember Hardy?
Yeah,
Remember that? That sucked so bad. The commentary was talking over it, and then they were getting weird. It was good stuff.
Just do it on the stage. Just do it on the stage.
I mean, I think so too, but they roll in, roll out. That's probably the best way to do it. Because you got to, like I said, you got to take it down. You got to put it up. It'll be fine. More like farty. That's true. All right. What else are you looking forward to at SummerSlam?
I don't know.
The experience, he says.
The show being over?
That's fair. And then you're going to go right to whatever after party is going to be happening.
Bed?
Yeah, that's the after party. Are you going to do the Sami Zayn show again?
Well, that's Friday night, not Saturday.
No, I know that. I'm asking because that's speaking of late nights in bed.
Not sure. TBD.
Everyone should push Jeremy to go back to the Sami Zayn show so that he can cut his promo on stage. Talk about John
Well,
Cena.
then I'm going to be booked to win the main event of SummerSlam after they see my promo. So
that's fine. You instead of Roman Reigns coming back, it's going to be you.
Imagine if Roman's music hits and out walks me.
Who the fuck is this guy? And Paul Heyman has to introduce you.
Oh, that rule. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the new advocate.
He'd have to be
for
something.
The reigning.
No, he'd have to be something. He would have to be like the publicist or something.
Oh, publicist is good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like publicist. Okay. I am the new publicist for the reigning, defending director of content at Fightful. Everybody boos because they think it's Sean.
They all think it's Sean.
Or they're like, what the fuck is Fightful?
And then you got a new name. You're not Jeremy Lambert anymore. You're just that Lambert guy.
That Lambert guy? Nah, that's not a good wrestling name.
Well, TLG.
That's a terrible wrestling name.
What? Why can't you be TLG? They'll think you're like TL Hopper, but you just went back a letter.
That sounds awful.
We'll call you the Aura, Jeremy Lambert.
Just the Aura? Oh.
And then you come out and you do Aura.
I have to think of I'll do, instead of, the acknowledgement of the one, I'll throw up two fingers like that. Throw it up.
The Brits will. That's better. If you do it like this, the Brits will have something to say.
Throw up two fingers.
That'll pop my kid. He'll love that.
And then the balloons rise from behind me.
Okada up here. They haven't done the AI stuff, but they'll bring it back just for you.
No, real balloons. Real balloons rise.
I wish they had one for Dubs.
It's bad for the environment to just release balloons in the air, but it'll be worth it for me.
It's an open air stadium. It's fine. It'll get out.
Well, yeah, it's not good though. If balloons go up into the sky, it's bad for the environment.
Eventually they pop and they fall into the atmosphere and they land in a recycling bin down the way.
Sometimes
That's
they
how it
land
works.
in water. No.
I don't know about that.
It's bad. It's not good.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Blood and Guts is tonight.
Allegedly.
Nashville, Tennessee. People in the chat who are going. Hope you have fun. Royal Rampage was announced because it's July. It's Royal Rampage time, right? Is that how we do it? I don't know.
It sucks.
Okay, hold on. Because I don't like just shitting on AEW.
I'll tell you why it sucks.
I know you will, and that's fine. We are going to get to like the certain gripes that we may have, but there are things that are announced for tonight that are, looking like it's going to be fun. Unless you're talking specifically about the Royal Rampage, at which point continue.
Yeah, talking about the Royal Rampage. What were you thinking I was talking about? That sucks.
Blood and Guts.
Well, that's going to be a fun match, but like I got no interest in the actual match. Like I know I'm going to watch it and I'm going to be like, hey, that was a really fun match. What do the winners get? What happens to the losers? Where's Bryan Danielson? Like the build to Blood and Guts hasn't been good. No real interest, like emotional investment in this match. Cool match to do a cool match. All right, fine. Royal Rampage. Can we just get a title challenger a different way? We just had a tournament to crown the new champion. Now we're going to have a battle royal. Before that, we had gauntlet gimmick. Can we get a challenger a different way?
A tournament?
We did that. We just did a tournament.
Battle Royal.
Well, we're doing that now.
Well, that's a Royal Rampage. It's different.
It's a battle royal.
But a battle royal starts with everyone in the ring, and the Royal Rampage is individually.
Is it? I thought the Royal Rampage was like a battle royal.
Is it? Well, it's just dumb. Yeah. If you're gonna rip off the Rumble, at least give it the Rumble flair. I'm not talking about Rick, by the way. He's not there anymore.
I've said this, Louis. It should be decided with rock, paper, scissors. Shoot some dice. Chess would be good. Like just something.
Shoot some dice. Santana's going to be the champion by the end of the night. Good for him.
Good.
The rock, paper, scissors thing is fun. Did you ever play rock, paper, scissors when you were a kid in a group of people or at a summer camp when the game would be, it was a clustered in that eventually it ends up with two sides when the last two people go at it. So basically I play you. Let's say there's like a group of us, okay? I play
rock,
you.
Paper, scissors, gauntlet? What the hell's going on?
Kinda, yeah. So it's rock, paper, scissors. And let's say I beat you. Then you join me and you're like cheering me on. And then I go on to the next person and I face them. And I basically, as long as I keep winning, I keep gathering these people. They become a cheering section until you get to the end and the final battle. It's basically like two cheering sections facing each other for the rock, paper, scissors championship. That's what we need.
I like this.
That's what we should do. That's what the Royal Rampage should be. The Royal Rock, Paper, Scissors Championship.
Just give me something out.
And it would be easy to beat the Acclaimed. Go up against Mask Caster. Like, I know what you're going to do, buddy. He's like, no, you don't. And you just go Rock. He's like, son of a bitch.
Just give me something different than just this. Let's do a Royal Rampage. And we're setting up challengers. I guess it's good. Like I actually don't want to complain about. We've got Bryan Danielson facing Swerve at All In. We're going to know who the winner of that match faces. In one sense, it's good in that like they're setting stuff up. In the other sense, it feels like something that's an overarching, like a cloud over what's happening that they don't discuss. Because that's literally what's happening with Bryan Danielson right now. Is we know Bryan Danielson is facing Swerve at All In. but Swerve's in Blood and Guts. So what's happening with Swerve and Bryan Danielson right now? They're just not going to do anything. They're not doing anything. And that's what I worry about if they do this Royal Rampage, which is on Friday. The winner of that isn't going to doesn't get their world title shot until mid-September. So do they just chill until September because they still have to do Bryan Danielson and Swerve at All In? That's what I worry about, is they have not shown they are great at weaving that stuff together. If they can prove they can do that, cool. They haven't done a great job with the Danielson stuff. Yeah, I know there's still 4 weeks. Like, they have the time. The problem is, instead of referencing it, it's just Bryan Danielson's off television right now. So, because we got to get through Blood and Guts. Let's say Hangman Page wins Royal Rampage. So Hangman Page gets his title match at Grand Slam. They just do Danielson and Swerve, and Hangman just kind of broods in the background before then. They gotta show they can weave that stuff together.
Just put Bryan Danielson on commentary tonight.
Maybe he will.
I would like that. That is something that would go a long way. And before Jeff starts getting weirder in the chat, you'll be fine, I promise. Setting stuff up there's a way to do it, and I've
also literally explained my position. If you're not happy with it, fine.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
There are ways to set stuff up. And sometimes the way that we set stuff up is not the way that we would necessarily do it ourselves. Doesn't mean it's bad, just means that it's not to our take. It's not to our liking. So let's not get personal.
Royal Rampage is not All Out. It's Grand Slam, right?
Yeah, it's officially, it's at Grand Slam. That will be that title match. So whatever's going to happen at All Out, it's that weird, like, again, you're setting something up, but you're setting it up for so far in advance that the things in the middle, like you said, the things along the way might not matter as much, or it's going to be waiting in the wings of so-and-so. But then how do you tell that story? Other than them coming out and saying, I'm the next guy up, you give them that TV time. That's really what it comes down to. You give them that TV time to make you want to see it, or make you want to be invested in it more than you have been. The stuff with Blood and Guts, for example, this random ass cage match that they put together has not been built up well at all. We just solidified the teams last week. There are no stakes. The Elite, the heel team, were the ones that put together the match in the first place, when normally it would be the babyface team makes a challenge, and then the heel team cowers in fear as they're forced to put together a team that they go up against the babyfaces. It's been told in a very upside down way, and I don't think that the buy-in has been there as a result. So that's been the issue.
So Henry does have a good point. Gunther's been chilling since winning King of the Ring. I said on this show that I wasn't a fan of Gunther being off television like that and just chilling off of there. I thought they could have done a little bit more. They've heated it up very well. Credit to them. But I said I didn't fully like that Gunther has just been off television. So I'm not saying anything that I didn't say about WWE here. Maybe, and I do think AEW will do a great job with Swerve and Bryan Danielson. It's Bryan Danielson. I'm going to be excited, everybody. I'm going to be excited about it. But the waiting in the wings and just like, cool, do what you want. I'm not a fan of that. I think they can do a little bit better. Both companies can do a little bit better with weaving stuff in and out on there when it comes to big title matches like this. WWE's heated up Gunther and Priest over the past couple of weeks. They've done a good job with that. It's still not the biggest match on the show, though. It doesn't feel like the biggest match on the show. Bryan Danielson and Swerve Strickland is going to be the biggest match on their show. Grand Slam, the world title match, it's going to be the biggest match on that show. So chilling in the background isn't, for me, the best way to go forward when you have other options there.
So Ricochet is going to win the Royal Rampage is what you're saying?
don't think they're going to debut. I hope that I don't think they're going to debut Ricochet on a taped episode of Rampage.
Although, what if they bring him out on tonight and say, ladies and gentlemen, blah, 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 the newest member of the AEW roster, Ricochet, cuts a fire, I don't know if he would, cut a fire promo, and then I'm going to be the Royal Rampage, I'm going to win it. And that's going to put hopefully put some viewership on Rampage. And yeah, the spoilers would be out there, but some people will stay away from that stuff. Some people would maybe want to see that, maybe I'll just stay spoiler free for this week because I don't want to know who wins. I also don't think that many people are reading the spoilers. I think it's more on a whether or not the show is like for them that week, because typically you find out what the matches are, like in the last quarter hour of Dynamite where they announce this, and this. And then you kind of look and you're like, oh, okay, that could be interesting. That could be for me. But if you know that the big selling point is Ricochet makes his debut at the Royal Rampage, and you've already seen him cut a promo live in the arena on Wednesday night, I feel like that might push people to watch on the Friday.
Maybe.
It could happen.
Well, the thing is, they're also doing the ROH show on Friday. So that's where, you're asking your fans to watch our ROH product, but also watch Rampage here. Maybe the ROH show will be over by 10. That'd be fantastic.
Wouldn't it? Can I tell you, by the way, the best part? This is what will always make me a TNA fan. Those TV tapings were done by 8:45 p.m. Eastern. They started at 5 Eastern on Sunday. We got out before 9 o'clock. I was over the moon about that because in the past, they've kept you there till 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock. No, they were very efficient. I like that stuff.
Oh, what I still was saying. I hope I'm not disparaging your opinions, but I hope you guys see that a portion of us have been able to find enjoyment through the build. Find enjoyment, though the build hasn't been great. I say this all the time. If you enjoy this stuff, if you are looking forward to the match, if you've been excited for it, awesome. And I don't mean that in a disingenuous way. Like, great. Truthfully, great. I'm glad you have found some enjoyment in this, and I'm glad you are looking forward to the match. We have a platform to discuss these things. We discuss what we like, what we don't like. We appreciate everybody who shows up in the chat. I respect everybody in the chat as long as you guys aren't being assholes towards each other and towards us. Like, we're just here giving opinions on stuff. You could disagree, no problem with that at all. That's the great thing about wrestling, is so much of it is subjective and people like what they like, don't like what they don't like. I don't like any of it personally. I think everyone knows that. I hate all wrestling. I hate all wrestling equally. Just don't be a jerk about things. That's it. Honestly, just don't be a jerk to each other and don't be jerks to us just because we're saying, if you think we are crying or whatever, then okay, fine. Don't watch. I don't mean this to sound disparaging of like, oh, if you don't like it, don't watch it. If you don't like what we have to say, don't watch us. Please do something better with your time. Honestly, you should not be watching us of like, these guys suck. These guys hate everything. Please. Jeff Driver said he had more fun watching wrestling because he didn't watch it. Great. Fantastic.
By all means, enjoy it. And if we don't add to your enjoyment, that's fine. But all I ask is that you don't take it out on us and you don't take it out on the chat and you don't get weird when something you don't agree with just makes you upset at the person. We're not the reason. We're not the reason. We're just people on the internet talking about it. What works, what doesn't, and it's all subjective. It's all this is.
Blood and Guts is it's not pinfall, it's give up. Right?
Is it submission only? I'm pretty sure. But it's only once everyone's in the ring that it becomes the match, right? It's submission only, says Big Man
Submission
Dogs.
only, give up. Yeah. I don't think Swerve is submitting. I don't think Zeno saying, does anyone like saying Hangman will pin Swerve? They ain't having Swerve tap out, give up for the team. There's no way.
No, that's why Darby's in the
Darby ain't giving up.
Yeah, it's going to be Mark Briscoe going in so that they can build him as the underdog for Friday nights. You think one of the Acclaimed, even though they have a title shot coming up? Allegedly.
Billy Gunn might just give up for the Acclaimed. Honestly,
Oh, you think he's gonna throw in the towel?
Throw in a towel?
No,
Yeah,
you can't do that. You can't do that.
I don't know.
The people in the chat saying Caster.
Yeah,
I think it's more likely that Mark Briscoe gives up and that it's like they turn it into like, is he going to be okay on Friday night? He's trying to preserve himself for Friday because he has this big title match against Roderick Strong, blah, blah, blah. Tune in to Ring of Honor, watch ROH. See you on Friday. By the way, Royal Rampage, same time.
I think it would. I'd care more about the finish if it, if there was something to this match, like if there were some stakes to this match, like if the Young Bucks quit, okay, they still got to defend the titles against the Acclaimed. It's not like they lose control of AEW. They're still EVPs. Like they could just quit. So there's no real consequence for them just quitting. I don't think Darby's quitting. I don't think Mark's quitting. Like, yeah, Louis says Mark would rather get off than quit. Factual.
Fair.
Like the only people who are possibly quitting on the Team AEW side is the Acclaimed. Maybe Billy Gunn throws in a towel. And then the Elite side, I don't see Hangman quitting because I don't think that does well for his character.
Okada.
Okada, they think Okada says quit instead of bitch.
That's right. I'm just thinking about and then the internet goes wild. You took a serious wrestler and you turned him into a comedy. Oh, Jack Perry being part of the finish. It could be that they tease something like they're going to throw Jack Perry off top of the cage, and he's like, "No, I quit," and that's it. And then they throw him off anyway, and they do a big spectacle out of it.
Maybe, but Jack Perry's like been lit on fire.
Well, his legs have been lit on fire. Now we're gonna light his top half on
I don't think that's good for Jack Perry's character either if he quits.
But the
Young Bucks.
But Jack Perry is such a little bitch, like character-wise, that he would do it if it's going to be threatening to his visage, if it's going to be threatening to his person. And if they threaten to throw him off the cage, then he could scream, "I quit. Oh my God, I can't take this." Someone's saying, Bisyllable saying ref stoppage. I don't think they can go that route. There's no that this is the intrigue of the match, is like who can take the loss. And AEW has also done a good job in the past of having people lose and then not making it the biggest deal in the world if someone loses a match. This is still a big match, but like Jeremy and I've said, there are no stakes. So like what's important on the build to All In terms of like who gets the win or who doesn't? Do you have Swerve win? Have Swerve win the match, and that builds him not only as the champion, as the guy, and then you have Bryan Danielson in the wings in the next 4 weeks, at All In. That kind of builds the stock of Swerve.
Louis made a point I was going to make of they should grab Tony Khan, and that's how they quit, is they threaten to once again hurt Tony Khan and somebody quits off of that. It feels like the Bucks are the most likely to just kind of quit because they don't have anything to lose or gain. Like
fair.
And that's my problem with the match, is they can just quit and then they just move on. Like they're still the tag champions, they're still EVPs. They still call shots. Like they get called quitters maybe, but they can quit and face no great repercussions.
I could see one of the Bucks being the loser of the match. What if the Bucks win? What if the Bucks are the reason that the Acclaimed give up and they say, you know what? You lost Blood and Guts. We're revoking your title shot. And him walk FTR. And they're going to get the title shot at All In because the Royal Rampage is now also a tag team Royal Rampage.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I don't know if it's a nightmare scenario, but here's a scenario.
I'm here for nightmares.
Max Caster quits. Max Caster quits, and it's just like, we still got our tag team title shot. I was trying to preserve that. I was trying to make sure we were healthy for that. Caster turns on Bowens in the tag team match, and then we get the singles run for Anthony Bowens. I don't know if that's actually a nightmare scenario. I think people will actually be happy.
I'm pretty sure you made people happy with this.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Right, so
Whose
sorry.
nightmare is this? Maybe it's
I
Max.
don't know.
Maybe it's Max's nightmare, but it ain't yours.
All right, well, there you go. Just gonna throw that out there. Maybe that's a finish. Is Caster quits to try to preserve their tag team title shot. They get their tag team title shot. Caster turns on Bowens, and that's all right. You guys are welcome. Apparently, this is a dream scenario, not a nightmare scenario for everybody.
The best nightmare I've ever had. It sounds like a dream. Going straight to Ring of Honor. That's fine by me too. Nightmares are great.
I don't think it's going to be the death knell for Bowens. I think Bowens is talented enough to overcome that, but it's going to be a single spot instead of a tag team spot. There's a lot of single spots that are already kind of taken. There's going to be more single spots that'll be taken if Ricochet's coming in, if Bobby Lashley is coming in.
Lashley's going to TNA. We know this. We're bringing it back, baby. Lashley's going to come back with MVP as his manager / tag team partner. We're running it back, baby. 2015, it's on.
I mean, maybe.
MVP for IWGP Intercontinental Champion. Let's go. 2009 is back. God, I miss New Japan from that time. People hated that time. That was lovely. But I mean, so they lose the tag title shot by virtue of Caster giving up, even though Caster thinks he was revoking or whatever?
No, I don't think they lose anything out of this. I think they just move forward with it.
Okay, that's fair. So do they do the title shot and then they lose the title shot and then the turn? Or does the title shot just not happen?
No, they get the title shot. Caster turns in the match.
Okay.
That's my scenario.
Okay. Just making sure, because I want to make sure that it's not like we breeze over the title shot, because like we've had that happen before in AEW where someone gets title shot and it doesn't happen. I'm pretty sure those guys are currently saying that they want the titles at All In. So there's that. Yeah. Okay. So that's Blood and Guts. You want to move down the rest of the card?
I'm really looking forward to Sheeta and Britt Baker. I thought Sheeta's promo was really strong on Collision, and very interested to see how Britt does. She hasn't wrestled since September. So, but Sheeta's great. And if you're going to put Britt in there with anybody, Sheeta makes the most sense as far as potential protection on anything, because she is very good and is going to make her look very strong.
Are we turning Sheeta? That's kind of on the table now.
I don't know.
Her graphic, just by looking at her graphic, looks like they're trying to paint her as a bad guy. She ain't smiling, and Britt Baker is big pearly whites in those photos. So I think maybe they're trying to give us move towards an evil Sheeta.
Maybe. I'm not sure though. This just feels like they're doing something with Sheeta. They're going to have her face Britt because it makes sense for Britt's first match back, especially Britt saying like, I'm next in line for the TBS title. Sheeta has every reason to be like, hey, wait a second, bitch. You're not first in line here. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do a full on turn, or if she's just kind of in the middle, like a lot of AEW people are. If you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't.
And Mercedes, she's lurking in the shadows in this one. She comes out. Does she do commentary, or does she just show up at the end of the match?
No, I don't think she does commentary. I mean, maybe because Britt should be focused on the match and she thinks this is a distraction. I think that is maybe why she does why she maybe does commentary. But the story is like she doesn't want to be around Britt. She thinks Britt is bad for her health.
Yeah. You know what you do? Because this whole thing has been like stomping on each other's moments, right? That's been the story, and that's fine. She's celebrating in the ring. Dr. Britt Baker. Big victory. Hikaru Shida, former 3-time AEW Women's Champion. Britt Baker leaves the ring. She's celebrating. She's outside. She's hugging people, slapping 5. And then she sees someone wearing a doctor's outfit. Full-on surgical gear, masked up and everything. And then she's like, I know who this is. And then she rips off the mask. And it's not Mercedes, but from behind, whoop-pow, Mercedes beats the shit out of Dr. Britt Baker. And then they introduce a new heater. Maybe that's when the Renegade Twins join up, because it's one of the Renegade Twins who were dressed up as the doctors, the DMDs themselves.
Maybe.
I actually really like that idea that I just had because it's so stupid. Oh, if it happens, credit me with a scoop. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Mariah May is going to debut the Glamour. And we know that we're gonna see Toni Storm out of this, right?
Feels like I don't know that.
Do you keep her off TV until like the week before the event?
No, not the week before, but you still got another month. I'm fine if she's off television this week as well. It feels like she probably comes back this week, but I wouldn't be disappointed if they waited another week.
That's fine by me. Toni, a lot of people are wondering what the return's gonna look like.
It's gonna be all bloody. She hasn't showered in 2 weeks.
Someone had a really good idea that you start running promos or videos, vignettes, whatever, with Toni. And the video, you know how she was doing only black and white, and you know how the promo shots have all been black and white, but her lips are red.
Yeah.
The videos are the same black and white, but now the red is from the blood that she shed during that beatdown. So her face is now, pieces of red, but the rest is all black and white.
Okay.
Someone says the Sin City effect. Why Solable says the Sin City effect. Something like that would be an interesting cinematic touch. But if she comes back as just Toni Storm going to beat your ass, I don't want that. Maybe come All In, you can play that up. But for now, she still has to be a little bit unadjusted.
She can be serious actress, Toni Storm, instead of dramatic actress.
I love the idea that she has suddenly found method acting.
Yeah.
And her method is madness. And now her method is beating the shit out of Mariah May. Maybe that's where it goes. Minoru Suzuki's back. He's going to take on Chris Jericho, the learning tree for the FTW. It never gets old. For the FTW Championship. This is God bless Minoru Suzuki. That's all I can say. I don't have anything to add to this match other than Jericho wins and maybe someone new joins the learning tree because Brian Keith and Big Bill are banned from ringside.
Big Ben Bishop, baby.
The newest member of the learning tree, Big Ben Bishop.
Right. Hell yeah.
Ricochet joins the learning tree. That's all I got for that one. And then we'll hear from MJF, who's on his way to Mexico after this to defend the title that Will Ospreay said he'd defend all over the world.
Look forward to MJF giving the same promo that he has given in interviews all week.
Swear to God, if I ever hear about quarters again, I'm going to not be happy with Max. Can't say the words on TV.
Why is he going to do quarters?
Because he does the quarters promo every once in a while as his like big go-to. I know that's not the promo that he's cutting right now, but
I feel like he's just going to call Will a gymnast and he's going to say AEW's boring without him. And now he's going to do what I said of Will said he was going to defend this title all across the world. And then he never left America. I'm going to Mexico already. First title defense. I'm already doing
MJF in Uganda. Here we go.
That would rule.
That would be the funniest, dumbest shit in the world, and I'm all for it. What a show.
That'd be a good show. It is disappointing that Blood and Guts feels a little... It was on the schedule instead of a match of consequence. But hopefully they can we know they're going to build something out of this because we know we're getting Jack Perry and Darby moving forward. We're going to get some form of Young Bucks and Acclaimed moving forward, whether it's a straight up tag team match or we do some 4-way at All In. Swerve and Hangman, we're going to get something at some point between them. Mark Briscoe and Okada are there. Maybe they'll set up something with Okada and Hangman coming out of this. Mark feels a little like he's just there to have a good time, which bless Mark Briscoe deserves it.
It's his warm up for Friday.
Yeah,
it's how he gets ready for his Roddy Strong match at Death Before Dishonor that happens on Friday from the Esports Arena in Arlington, Texas. Got to watch Collision from this past week to really catch up on that. Saw bits and pieces. It was a busy weekend.
It was a fine show.
It was a fine show. I heard the audio was a big issue.
I don't pay attention to the audio, so.
I mean, let me tell you a secret. I watch TNA. I'm very well aware of the audio issues that exist in professional wrestling television. Oh, God. Do you have anything else to add before we get out of here?
No.
Wonderful. We're back, baby. Don't let anyone ever tell you we weren't. Although Friday, I might not. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe the heat will be on so hard that I never come back again. But until then, enjoy Blood and Guts. Enjoy Dynamite. We'll be back Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern here on the channel. Yeah. Go watch Is Indeed tonight. Mike doing Indeed tonight? He is. He's got Sean hopping on to talk about his match with Effie. So go check that out, okay? They did one behind the paywall. Now they're going to do one beyond the paywall. So go check that out here on the channel. Like before you head out. Subscribe before you head out. Tell your friends about the show. For Jeremy Lambert, I am Actual Pearl. JOELPEARL. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.